welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm FIIIIIINE and welcome. If it's your first time, remember to subscribe, like, leave your comments after this video, please, and thank you.
So, the story behind this video is that my mom actually bought a dress for my aunt's party, so they're all wearing the same dresses, right? So now they couldn't find a size for me. Like, how do you not find a size for me? Like, how do you not find a size for me? So that's the story I got. Anyways, so I stole her fabric. Yes, I stole it. And I don't know what's going to happen to me. And I'm going to use my bed sheet, the one I used when I was a little girl. So it has a doll on it. So let's just try to recreate this dress. I'm going to try to do it as best as I can. This is going to be so much fun for me. I hope it is going to be for you too. So first, I'm going to try to show you the dress, my mom's dress. She bought it from like a China shop, I think. So here is my mom's dress, this gorgeous dress. As you can see, this cool cartoon, animal, whatever you want to call it. It's very super cool. I'm going to be using like Snow White or something. But listen, it's the thought that counts, it's creativity. So I'm going to try to accomplish the collar, and then I'm going to have a buttoned up shirt dress. It's actually a shirt dress, yes. And then she has like jumbo sleeves. So these sleeves actually have like a loop thing. As I'm not a fashion designer, so I'm just gonna try to get this thing in as well. So here are my tools. This is like a 2-meter fabric. I don't know what type this is. I don't know. I stole it. Okay, and here you get to see my what's this? My duvet cover. So I've decided I'm going to cut out Cinderella. No, yes, it is Cinderella. So I'm also going to use black cotton, pins, a lot of pins, stolen chalk. So this chalk as well is stolen. I'm using black buttons and transparent buttons. They're not so transparent, but they are transparent. You can take a look so that when I put them on a colorful thing, and these ones are going to be like on a fabric, and a black fabric, and a ribbon, and a pair of scissors, and obviously a sewing machine. So, since I'm making this dress, luckily I have like a similar oversized t-shirt. So, it's not a t-shirt, it's a shirt dress, whatever it is. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to take a chalk, right? Like just a chalk, and then mark exactly where I want the sleeve to be. So this is where I want my sleeve to be. So basically, like this kind of length. This is what I'm looking for with this length. So I'm going to lay down nicely this fabric, and then trace out the back of the shirt. So I'm going to put it on fold like this because I want the back of the shirt, and I'm going to try to trace out this shape. So I'm going to trace it out with a chalk on the actual fabric. So because it's the front part, I used half part of it, but because I'm cutting the back part, I fold it. So the fold, when I unfold it, obviously after getting the shape, I'm going to get the back part. So now to get the best shape of this piece, I'm going to try to pin everything so that, like on the corners, so that I can get to trace the best way I can. So here's the back piece, but I've decided I'm going to make it the front piece because the neckline is deeper, you understand. So now I'm going to cut the very same piece again, but just with a much more, the neckline is not going to be this deep. It's not going to be that deep. It's probably going to be up to here, but I will show you the difference. And then, because now this is going to turn into the front part, I'm going to open it in the middle. So now I've traced the front part to create the back part, but you see at the top there, because the front part has a deep neckline, the back part I drew the back part's neckline, so you can see it's a bit way too up because the back line is not supposed to be that deep. So this is our back part, this is the front part. So with the front part, I'm just going to cut the middle. You can see I've marked the middle, so I need to cut it. And there we have a front piece cut in the middle. So I'm going to create the facing for the front piece, And here are the two long pieces for the front part. You'll see how I install them. So these are the facings. So here are all my pieces. You can see I cut everything. So you see I have my facing. Okay, let me start there. I have the back part, the B. The F is the front part. You can see it's two pieces. Next to it is the facing, two pieces. And then at the top next to it, it's the collar stand, right? You can go look at your collar. It has two parts. It's the collar stand, and then at the bottom you can see it's the actual collar, the one that actually overlaps, and then the sleeves, and then the ribbons for the drawstrings. Alright, so I traced everything out the same way I traced the back part and the front part of the shirt. Good! And there's Cinderella! It took me so long to actually cut it so perfectly. Look at it. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So you at home, give me a round of applause.
Let's meet my mom. Here she is. Hi, Mom.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm good. How do you feel that I stole your fabric?
Oh, but I'm nearly being angry, but I'm proud of you because you're getting there to do your thing.
You know?
Yes.
Yes!
Okay, so the first part I did is to pin the facing on the edge of the front part. So I'm going to sew it now. Cut it accordingly because it was just straight, so according to the shape of the neck. And I'm going to turn it inside out like this, and then I'm going to pin it and then make a top stitch. Here I pinned it, so I'm going to top stitch. So I'm just going to pin this thing in the inside just to make a clean finish inside. And then I'm going to pin it. So this is me after sewing it inside and like just doing like making it look neat and stuff. And then this is what the outside looks like. Okay, I still have a chalk here, but it doesn't matter. But this is what the inside looks like. So it looks like this for both the front parts. So both the front parts look exactly like this. I'm just going to turn both pieces right sides. So they're going to face, so this is the right. The right side is the side that everyone sees when you're dressing up. So both of them. So I'm just going to, because this is, so the right side is going to be where I do the buttonholes. So I'm just going to take it out and then put the left side, which is the right side still, and then I'm going to put it on top like this, right? And then I'm going to, so already there's a strap there that indicates that are going to be buttonholes. So I'm just going to pin them together. Awesome. So now I have the front part. Here it is. So let's pretend it already has buttons. Now I'm going to take the back side, right? And then match the shoulders. So these are the shoulders for the back. So now I'm going to put them together like this. I'm just going to make sure that you can see it properly. So here are the shoulders. So I'm going to take these shoulders and I'm going to pin. So now that I've pinned together, I can already see that this excess fabric. So I'm going to cut it off, but let me first sew these two together.
Okay, it's late now. I'll finish the projects tomorrow. See you tomorrow. Good morning! This is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. Let's work.
So there we have it. The shoulders are put together, and now this is the inner side. So this is the inside part of the dress shirts. I'm going to take my sleeve. Now, this is the top part of my sleeve. This is the lower part of my sleeve. And then on the center, I'm going to cut it. I did cut already to show that this is my center. So when I pin, I just have to pin my sleeve around here. So this is all I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be putting it like this, pinning it together, and then I'm going to sew it. I'm going to do the same for the other side as well. So here are the sleeves. This is what they look like from the outside, and then we sewed them from the inside. So now what I'm going to do is take the back side and then So take the back side, put it on top of the front side. So now this is the outside. So with the outside, now you see what it's going to look like. So I'm going to pin and sew and then do the same on the other side. So this is what it looks like when it's pinned. I'm going to sew it. I'm not going to record the sewing because it takes much longer. It's going to make the video long. So now for the collar part. So now you can see I've traced out, this is the violin. So I've traced out one violin shape for each collar. So we're going to sandwich them. But first, you will see your violin has like the sticky side, and then you're going to put it on top of your one collar fabric like this, and then you're going to iron it so that it sticks. Okay, so I've just ironed it and now it's literally stuck on the other fabric. Cool. So we're going to start with this part of the collar. Let's call it the flap. So you see, this is the violin side and then this is the normal fabric. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn the right side and then put this one as well together. And then we're going to sew this side, and then we're not going to sew this side. So we're going to keep this one open and then sew the rest. So there we have it, it's sewn. Let me just bring it closer. Yes, there we have it, it's sewn. So I didn't sew this, the end part. I sewed the other three sides. So you can see now there's the black cotton. And what I'm going to do now, before I turn it inside out, to make it easy to turn it inside out, is here on the edge, you see like there's too much fabric. So when it turns inside out, you don't want it to create like weird shapes. So I'm gonna cut it like this. And to make it easy to turn inside out, you notch. So when you notch, you don't cut away, you sew. So you cut smaller pieces like this. That's notching. So here it is. You have it notched all over, and now you're gonna turn it inside out. To get the best flat outcome from your collar, when you are sewing the top stitch, this is what I usually do. I just make sure I get to the edge and then pin it. Okay, now it's time to put the collar that we just did now together with the stone collar. So this is the violin side. You're going to make sure it faces down, right? And make sure the curved parts are facing this side. And then you're going to take your stem collar, find the center, and then find centers for all of them, and then put them together like this. And then you sandwich the flapping collar. So you just need to make sure that everything has its center. Remember, the violin side is this side, and then you're gonna sew from that corner curving and then to this corner. You do not sew this part. You only sew from this corner curving and this side. Okay, now that we're done with the collar, remember we sewed it, notched it, turned it in like to the right side and then top stitched it. So now we did the same process like we did when we did the top collar. So now you're going to take the center of your shirt dress and then take the center of the collar. So you see it's still open. Just take one side and pin it together. So you're going to pin it together until the end, right? And then sew it. Just that part. Do not sew this part, just this part. Okay, so something very important. What I did was I found the center, pinned it, and then I started pinning the sides to make sure that the collar was evened out nicely with the actual shirt. And now because this is an oversized dress, the collar was big, and because I wanted my collar tighter, fit into my neck, now you have this gap. So what do you do now if you're left with this gap? What you can do is try to create pleats. So you can just always, with this space, find the center, pin it again with the center of the actual collar, right? And then you are left with now a space again. Then you take this space, okay, find the center again. Here's the center, and then you pin it together again. And then you have a pleat. So then you can create a pleat. So you can make it come on top of this one. So you just bend it over, and then you take out the very pin and then pin everything again. And then you do the same with this one. Find the center. So I usually find the center by holding like a pyramid, and then once I have my center, I pin it. Then you have the gap again. Then just make, so this becomes a pleat. You just make it lie down like this, and then you take the very pin it again, and then you take this one again and make it lie again like this, and then you pin it again. So you do that with all the parts that have gaps like this. So there you have your pleats. You pleated up everything, and then now the fabric is evened out nicely. And now you sew from the inside here, only this part. Okay, now that you have the collar attached to the actual shirt dress, now you will see it's still open here. So what I did was unpick a little. So I unpick a little so that it can create like flexibility when I have to cover up this piece. So what you're going to do is hold your fabric like this, and then you see all this piece, so where it's sewn, you're going to bend it. So when you bend it, make sure this one is also straight so that you can bend it together and close it. And then when you close it, you'll see it's going to create a clean finish. And then you have to pin all the way to the other side. So this is how you close it. So now that this one is already, so now this one is already there. So here it is, all pinned out. So whatever you did this side, you're going to do this side, same way. So here it is pinned out. So now, after pinning out everything like this, we're going to sew it right at the edge, Let's sew it. And this is what the inside looks like. Oh my word, so neat and clean. However, it's because I sew from inside, and then this is what the outside looks like. But the outside shouldn't really be that much of a matter, because you're gonna bend your collar like this, so the back part will be covered. So these are the pleats you're gonna get once you start doing the pleats for your neck, if your collar line is not the same size as your shirt dress neckline. So this is what the overlocking does, creates a more professional finish, yes, and much neater. I'm going to put in a drawstring now. So basically what I'm just going to do is put the drawstring like this and then mark it. So I'm going to mark the gap. So after marking the gap, all I'm going to do is bend towards that gap. Yes, it is going to be like half the size of the ribbon, but like when you bend it, obviously it's this thick, but when you bend it, it becomes much like half the size of that. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to pin, and then I'm going to sew on top of the finished look. So here's the finished part. I sewed it. You can see there's like a space inside, like a bubble. So now I'm just going to look at the shoulder, and then right at this side, I'm going to open a hole to put the drawstring. Okay, now I'm gonna mark my buttonholes. So I usually take the button, see how long it is, and then I check the length, and then it's like 2 centimeters long, and then that's my buttonhole length, and then I'm gonna mark that on the shirt, dress. So here we have our buttonholes. I've marked them accordingly with 2 centimeters, and then I've just spread them apart. This was not measured, the spacing between was not measured, I just eyeballed it, but you can measure. So now I'll be changing the normal foot and then putting in the buttonhole foot. So this is what you use to create buttonholes. Okay, now I'm done with the buttonholes and I already put in the buttons. I didn't show you the button session because I know you know how to put in buttons. Now, here's Cinderella. What do? Where I pinned in the middle is where I'm going to cut her off. So the first procedure to keep her seated where she is to actually glue the fabric on this fabric and to make sure that it's flat so that when I sew it doesn't cause bubbles. So that's what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to use black cotton to sew on each and every single black line. Let's do it. And here it is. The fabric glue is super dry. I used fabric glue. Now it's flat, it's nice. I'm just going to sew on it now without any hassles and worrying whether it'll create bubbles or not. Let's do this!